And we have some breaking news. The Israeli army claims that Gholamreza Soleimani, the commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Basij unit, has been killed in an airstrike. Iran has yet to confirm that news. It does come as we cover developments from Tehran, Doha, Baghdad, as well as Ramallah. Nida, Ibrahim is live in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. And Nida, Israeli media reporting that Israel's military has targeted Iran's Basij chief, or should I say military security chief, Ali Larijani. What more are you hearing about that, first of all, as well as these reports coming in about Gholamreza Soleimani?
Well, aside from the confirmation from the Israeli military saying that they indeed conducted a precise strike that ended up killing al-Basij commander Gholamreza Soleimani late on Monday, there are other speculations and sources confirming to different Israeli media, that the army has indeed put a target and targeted overnight Iran's top security chief, Ali Larijani. Now, according to these Israeli media, mostly the right-wing side of them, they are saying that there are more estimates in Israeli army's groups and analysts saying that he indeed was at least injured, if not killed. Of course, this is something that Iran has denied by saying that they will be pushing a message by Larijani soon. But this seems to be the scene from Israel, in addition to boasting about the killing of al-Basij leader Soleimani, saying that he was involved in what they called centralized oppression of protests in Iran, saying that this precise strike has been guided by military and intelligence information that they gained from inside Tehran. This is the latest we got from Israeli media, boasting about the success of the operation of Soleimani, while saying that they have more estimates that Larijani has been at least wounded, if not killed. Now, the attack that was conducted on Soleimani, according to the Israeli Channel 14, included the killing of other senior leaders in the IRGCs Basij forces, saying that also Soleimani's deputy has been one of those who have been killed as part of this strike.
Nida Ibrahim there, joining us from Ramallah. Let's get back here into Doha, and in the studio I'm joined by Al Jazeera's Resul Serdar, who's reported extensively from Iran. Resul, what would the death of Gholamreza Soleimani mean?
Look, Basij is almost as important as the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard. So while the Revolutionary Guard is a conventional army, and it's a product of the revolution, by the way. So after the revolution it has been created, particularly took a shape during Iran-Iraq war, and Basij in parallel here. But the IRGC is focused on the war with the states, against the state, for the conventional one. And then when it comes to domestic, within Iran, Basij becomes the prominent figure. So regarding their numbers, it's unclear. There are no clear sources that will give you an exact number because it's a paramilitary group. So based from 300,000 to 10 million. So these are the estimations.
That's quite something.
Because these are, majority of them are the volunteers, those who are loyal to the regime, loyal to the Islamic Revolution, and then they're in that ranks. And particularly during the extraordinary times, you will see Basij popping up.
Resul, the thing is, a lot of the military in Iran has been working in silos, as it were. Does Basij operate like that too?
Indeed. So, as I said, particularly during the extraordinary times, you will see that Basij being more and more visible. Just last year, during the 12-day war, for example, when you go to the cities or on the roads within Iran, you will see Basij more than the Revolutionary Guards. And so, but now that Gholamreza Soleimani is assassinated, he has been transforming Basij into another level. He restructured the whole Basij based on the new threat perception. And so Basij is an indoctrinated, ideological paramilitary group. So it's not just a professional security forces that you can say, well, it's not police forces. This group is particularly designed in case of an existential threat to the Islamic Revolution itself. They are in charge of securing the public order.
So, Resul, are they the ones who were perhaps very, very much part and parcel of the crackdown that we saw in January?
Indeed. Particularly, we have seen first time that they were extremely visible was in 2009 Green Movement protest. So they were the guys that oppressed and stopped that protest. And since then on, the Iranian establishment have realized that in case of an internal strife, in case of the public disobedience or the insurgency, so Basij could be extremely instrumental. That's why they have been further and further enhanced. So, but why particularly now it's important? Look, there has been several reports that Israelis and Americans will be keen to encourage the internal or the ethnic insurgency. And just indeed, yesterday we have seen that in Balochistan, where Baluchs live, several of police officers have been killed by some Baluch armed groups. And then in Khuzestan, where Arabs live, the Iranian security forces have arrested a group of people accused of planning an armed attack. And then on a daily basis, IRGC is conducting operations in western part of the country against the Kurdish armed groups. So while there are growing concerns in Iran about this ethnic insurgency, about really the public order, about the protest, now killing of the commander of the Basij is going to further deteriorate that concerns or increase that concern and further deteriorate the concerns about the public order within Iran.
Now, there are other reports in the Israeli media which have not been confirmed. The death of Soleimani has been confirmed by Israeli officials, but in this case, there's no confirmation, but it's about the security chief, Ali Larijani, in a strike as well overnight. Now, he's also hugely important. And what would his death, though it's not been reported, mean?
If confirmed, that will be the highest assassination after the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. So there is no doubt about it. I mean, if you compare, of course, like Gholamreza Soleimani is an extremely important figure, but it's no match for Ali Larijani. Ali Larijani is a symbol of the revolution, and moreover, so he has been more than 12 years the spokesperson of the parliament. He's an ex-IRGC officer, and now recently that he has been elevated as the secretary of the Supreme National Security Council. So he was simply coordinating the communication between all the security apparatuses, but not only that, he was also responsible coordinating the communication between the IRGC and the political leadership as well. But more importantly, he was a balancing figure. He has some reservations in terms of elevation of Mujtaba Khamenei as being the supreme leader, and there has been attempts to convince him. So now, if he's taken out of the picture, if his killing is confirmed, what will happen? That will further consolidate.
Isn't his power base also perhaps multiplied by the fact he has two brothers who are working behind the scenes?
Indeed, Larijani family is a very famous family in Iran. So Sadiq Larijani for quite long years has been the head of the judiciary, which is one of the main branches of the state. And then his other brother was head of the central government of Iran, while he himself was the parliament spokesperson. But here, Rashad, we should see that Ali Larijani, if confirmed, killed, what that will mean for the power structure in Iran. As I said, Ali Larijani was one of the few senior officials in Iran that had concerns about Mujtaba Khamenei being the supreme leader. If he is taken out of the picture, that will automatically consolidate Mujtaba Khamenei's power, and that is going to further enhance the control of the IRGC over the politics in Iran.
Resul, stick around. We'll hear from you during the course, of the show. Okay, well, let's get you to Tehran itself and get over to Tohid. Asadi, he's there. Tohid, I'm sure that you've got nothing new on what has happened, really, perhaps, with regards to these two very high figures in the Iranian government. But tell us a little bit more about what's going on there, seeing images of rescue workers pulling people out of rubble. What's really been the effect of the latest US and Israeli strikes?
Well, I can say that for the past few hours, we have been hearing sounds of massive explosion from different parts of the city, indicating the continuation of the air strikes starting from midnight, and this is day 18 of these strikes, we heard the massive sounds of explosion as well as the shock waves tangible in many parts of the capital. But we know that this is not just limited to the Iranian capital, but across the country in different cities such as Kermanshah, Ahvaz, Isfahan, Shiraz. We are hearing and we have been receiving reports about the continuation of these air strikes. That is on the one hand. Then on the other hand, we receive reports about the attacks on important buildings across the capital, and two important figures, as Resul was explaining, the head of Basij and the commander of Basij, as well as the top security figure of the country, the National Security Council Secretary Ali Larijani. There are speculations that they have been targeted. For the first one, for the head of Basij, we don't have any confirmation about that, as you mentioned, but for the second figure, Ali Larijani, the Iranian state media as well as his own Telegram channel came out a few minutes ago to say that Ali Larijani's recent actually video message or statement will be published very soon, and we are expecting, and that is going to be a sort of indicative whether or not the reports about his death are true or not. And this is just one part of the bigger picture in which we know that the political establishment, including the military spheres, including the political leaders, are all convinced about the continuation of the retaliatory strikes from the Iranian side, as long as the airstrikes by Americans and Israelis go on, and as long as what the Speaker of the Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, came out to say today, it is needed to make sure that the security of the country is maintained. And of course, added to that, and yet another layer of complexity, is the geostrategic heated discussions out there about the closure of Strait of Hormuz, something that Iran says it's using as a leverage in this already delicate situation. They are saying that it's open, but again, close to ships, vessels, oil tankers belonging to the adversaries of the country, as well as their allies. We are dealing with a very tough situation, far from any point of de-escalation at this time being. And if the reports about the killing of these two important figures come to be true, that's going to add another layer of complexity. Iranians are now talking, the supreme leader of the country in his very first statement talked about retaliation, talked about revenge, and now if another layer is added, we can add more repercussions, more stronger answers. Right now, the rhetoric in Iran, at least when it comes to the political establishment, is that of defiance, is that of deterrence, resilience, and retaliation. So how far it's going to go? Again, this is another very important question. Tehran says that it is us, it is Iran that is going to determine when the war is going to be finished and how long it takes. All in all, no signs of de-escalation, as the Iranian foreign minister recently said that negotiation at this point is not on the agenda. We are not going to accept any offer for ceasefire, and we are going to continue the trajectory of war as long as it is needed.
Tohid, thank you. Tohid Asadi there, joining us from Tehran. Well,